Well, good evening, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It's the 19th of November. We're live from One Bethlehem Plaza here in downtown Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Very chilly, obviously. We're an epically cold weekend, pretty much wall-to-wall across the country here today. I don't want to scare anybody, but there's only 36 days until Christmas, and now we're not even done with Thanksgiving yet, so hard to utter those words. But one thing that's off to a very peak season, as we kind of intimated it would earlier in the year, that very cold, early onset of cold in the southeast can lead to early onset of flu. And so flu has done a 2009 type peak here. We had a very, very early October, November type surge. We'll see if that's starting to level off here and if this collapses. Last year, again, we're way above last year by about 300% in terms of number of cases. So typically these spike seasons get a very large spike, as we're seeing right now, way above baseline, and then they collapse. COVID cases are nowhere near where they were last year, down about 54%. No major variants out there like Omicron last year that spiked around Christmas time, early January. So this year, let's hope that we're not going to see the huge monumental surge that we saw last year across the U.S. Looking at the last week's summer here, week ending here tonight, 19 November. So most of the history books here. Here in the U.S., it's just obviously epically cold, 10.8 degrees colder than last year, coldest in 8 years, second coldest in 37 years, pretty much the entire country other than maybe South Florida, 58% wetter than a year ago, wettest in 3, still 8th driest in 37 years, but snowfall way up. 672% more snow than a year ago, most in 26 years, second most in 37 years. So just epic on that front as well. Obviously, what you're seeing happening in the Great Lakes. Lakes are still very warm in the 40s, mid 40s, and you bring this very cold air over that warm lake and just monumental snow totals there with feet of snow around Buffalo and other areas there, the Great Lakes. Canada also on the cool side, coldest in 4 years. Europe on the warm side, warmest in 10 years as expected. China, very warm, third warmest. Still cold down under Australia, number one coldest in 37 years for them. Maps inset left are the trends versus average. We just look at these U.S. daily temperature trends versus average. Now this is 267 major cities across the country here. The bars show where it's below average, red bars are above average. You can see that we're in the peak as of today. This is probably the peak of the cold, trending about 13 degrees colder than average. So again, coldest in 8 years, third coldest in 37 years for this 2-week stretch here. But you can see here that we're starting a moderating trend. So temps going to kind of go up generally, nationally, in fact, even above average temperatures this time next weekend. We look at season date snowfall again through 19 November here. It's also way up. So a fast start, 321% more than a year ago, 37% above average, 12th most in 37 years nationally. This will wane here over the next 2 weeks. Again, not a ton of snow over the next 2 weeks. So this will probably tick down below average here as we talk about into early December. We look at this week again, hard to believe, Thanksgiving week here. Here in the U.S., still cold, 2.3 degrees colder than last year, coldest in 9 years, 8th coldest in 37 years, so below average nationally. 38% wetter than last year, but still 10th driest in 37 years. Snowfall again starting to show the downward trends. Don't tell that to folks around the Great Lakes. They're still going to see some snow here the next few days. 27% less snow than last year, least in 5 years, 8th least in 37 years for the nation as a whole. Real wet spot will be along the East Coast here. The big storm later in the week, Friday, actually could be, hopefully you're not traveling on Friday because it could be a pretty stormy day along the East Coast. We'll look at these 6-day snowfall trends here again right now, the next 6 days, about 177% more than a year ago. Still down 46% below average, most in 4 years, 12th least in 37 years. So again, you'll see most of the snow is going to be confined here to the downwind of the Great Lakes. And then again, it begins to wane here as the winds back off a bit, and then a little bit of snow out toward the northwest Rocky Mountains. Again, but not a lot of snow here overall. And this is just a 6-day aggregate. If we look at next week here, getting into the first few days of December here, U.S. about 5.7 degrees colder than last year, but still 15th warmest in 37 years, so above average on a national scale. A little misleading here with this map, but again, generally a near to slightly above average trend. Precip 27% drier than last year. We'll see again, number one driest in 37 years, maybe a little underdone here, but again, a generally drier pattern and a less snowy pattern. If we just aggregate these trends here over the next 2 weeks, again through 3 December here, a big map here now is trends versus average. Still cold here in the U.S., but again, that's moderating with the extreme cold now going to more mild conditions as we get into early December. Europe still warm, Russia almost wall-to-wall, Siberia cold, Australia continues their cold trends. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, great Thanksgiving, and again, follow us on social media here for more updates as we go through the week ahead. Have a great Thanksgiving.